in 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, this is Misty Dawn with the Manamal Streaming Radio, and we are here talking to the guys from the band the Buddz. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today. How you doing?
Thank you so much for having us. We're doing great. We just got done practicing for our new album release show coming up this Friday on 4/20.
Nice.
We are the Buddz.
Go ahead.
I said we are the Buddz, so it's a fitting release date. You know?
I had a feeling I was going to ask that. That's awesome. So now, can you tell the listeners who we have with us today?
I'm Matt Smile, the lead guitarist, and I do some vocals in the band.
And I'm Scott Smile, I'm the lead singer and the crazy one.
I'm Nate, and I am the bass player, and I do my best to keep all of them in check.
He's the normal guy. But
I'm also the bass player.
The fun police.
Yeah, he tries to police our fun times sometimes.
I wasn't good at that.
You have to have somebody there holding the whip, huh?
Oh, yeah.
But first off, I have to say, you guys totally kick ass. Could you give our listeners a brief history of the band?
We've been doing it about 12 years now. It started off as a high school talent show. We played Sweet Child of Mine, and we rocked it. And ever since then, we just kept playing gigs, which turned into writing songs, recording albums, touring across the country. And we just can't stop. We can never give it up. It's too fun.
I have no doubt that's fun. I've always wanted to be one of those traveling groupies, but it has not worked out yet.
Well, good thing you just met a traveling band. You know?
I'll jump right on that opportunity too. So, now, do you guys come from musical families?
Yes, actually, both sides of my family are into music. Two of my uncles were some of my main inspirations. My uncle Steve on my mom's side played drums like crazy. He was so good. And my uncle Sammy on my dad's side played electric guitar. He actually gave me my first real electric guitar when I was about 10 years old, and taught me Black Diamond from Kiss on that guitar. And the rest was history.
Now, what about the other fellas there?
Yeah, I also grew up in musical families as well. I have family members that are, music teachers and like choir directors and things like that. So, yeah, it's family inspiration for me as well.
And I'm Matt's brother. We're brothers, so we had the same musical family. But our dad did kind of crack the whip when we were kids and forced us to do choir, which that helped us a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it definitely good time. I'm definitely glad my dad made me play music as a kid.
My dad actually bought me a drum kit when I was 4 years old, and I'm the guitarist in the band, but I still love to play some drums. That's my first instrument. It's my first love. But we just got music in our veins.
Now, who are your influences outside of family?
Kiss, absolutely.
Kiss.
When I was in second grade, my mom took me to a Kiss show. It was the 4 original members, and that changed my life. We were totally stricken. We saw Skid Row, Ted Nugent, and Kiss, and they just blew our minds. My brother Scotty, the lead singer, he was in 5th grade at the time. And from that moment forward, we decided this was our quest. This was what we had to do. And we never gave it up since then.
We wore Kiss makeup, and they made me be Peter Criss.
Yeah, the lead. You had to be Peter Criss.
And Paul I wanted to be Paul.
We all would have been Paul Stanley's if we hadn't agreed on something. So.
Now, I saw Kiss later on in life, but I did see Skid Row as a teenager, and I have to say that was probably one of my most memorable concerts ever. So I completely understand when you're coming from.
Oh, yeah. Skid Row, man, they are so good.
Absolutely.
That's one of Scotty's main inspirations, definitely.
That's awesome.
Sebastian Bach.
He's incredible. If you ever get a chance to read his book, 18 in Life, on Skid Row, you definitely need to read that book.
That sounds good. I love reading biographies, autobiographies. I just read Face the Music by Paul Stanley. It was so good.
Nice. I do a book review on our website, so that's where I'm getting all this information, and there's a lot of them out there. You really should check them out if you're a reader. Now, it must be pretty exciting to have your album Burn Down coming out soon, which is for pre-sale for everybody on iTunes. Can you tell me the inspiration behind the album?
Well, the title kind of represents what we as a band try to do anytime we go anywhere. We want to leave our mark. We want to burn the place down, so to speak, without actually burning it down. We just want to leave an impression and, something that nobody forgets.
I think you're doing that. That album's pretty incredible. I've listened to it a couple of different times, and I really, really enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Misty. We put a lot of work into it. It was 3.5 years in the making. We worked with some good producers and engineers, and we actually self-produced a lot of it ourselves, too. But it was all mixed by Dave Fortman, who plays guitar in Ugly Kid Joe, and he actually works with Godsmack, Slipknot, Evanescence, and Mudvayne, some other big rock and roll bands. And we learned a lot in this whole process, and we had the pleasure of just getting to hang with some really cool people. It was a really fun experience.
Oh, I can imagine getting the chance to work with Dave Fortman must have been a dream come true.
It was insane. When he walked in to work with us the first time, he was wearing a Buddz t-shirt that we'd sent him before we'd ever met him, and it was just incredible. He just ran in our own shirt and was like, "The Buddz in the house," and made us feel like rock stars before anything big had happened.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm sorry if I'm kind of, it's a little bit of a lag, so if I'm cutting over you, I really don't mean to do that.
It's all good, Misty.
Okay.
It's good on our end.
Now, how badass was it working with Black Tide for your video Bring Me Down?
Oh, he was cool. He was cool.
It was pretty cool. The whole
they
band.
They came and stayed at our house.
Yeah, it all happened by chance. They were coming through Johnson City to play a tour date, one of their random shows, and the local promoter, asked us if we wanted to open up for this band. And one of our buddies, Jared Perrigan, put in a really good word for us and got us that gig. And next thing we know, we're hanging out with the band, partying with them, and we invited them to our studio, and we just, had a few drinks and then recorded a song together. The next thing you know, we are in Miami shooting a video with the guys. They were really cool dudes.
They seem like it. You guys seemed just like you were having the time of your lives.
It was really cool. Yeah, it was a super fun video. And we had Justin Reich, a really good director, work on the video for us. That was our first time ever working with him with this lineup. Our bassist, Nate, actually was in a metal band before us called All Is One, and he did some work with that director before he ever got traction and took off. And now that guy's working with the big names.
Yeah, right after he did our video, he went and did Ace Frehley and Paul Stanley's video, Fire and Water.
Yeah, it was crazy. We got to work with some of our favorite people.
We were really mad he didn't invite us. And if you're listening, Justin, we still hold that against you for not bringing us to the video shoot to meet Paul, my idol.
You better make it up to us, Justin, if you're listening.
We'll make sure he listens. Now, are there any particular songs from your favorite artists, past or present, that move you emotionally?
There's a lot of really good ones. It's hard to really just...
You would have us on here all day, babe. All day.
A song that changed my life was, it's really a guitar solo. Kiss's Lick It Up album, they have this song, 1,000,000 to 1. And it had this crazy good guitar solo in it. And that was the first thing that I learned really on electric guitar. I just spent so much time on this one insane guitar solo. It took me months. But then once I had that solo, it's like I progressed a lot faster than just learning a few chords and taking it from there.
I know probably the answer to this next question is if you had the chance to collaborate with anyone musically, who would you choose and why?
Paul Stanley, because Paul Stanley is my idol. Listen to Paul, I'd do anything, I'd pay you. Let's do it.
I'll tag him on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know what? Paul has been such an inspiration to us. He really has. And we would love to work with him. But honestly, I don't know if I would do it because Scotty would freak out the whole time and Paul would think we were weirdos.
Oh my God, but I am a weirdo.
That's awesome, though. We'll send it to him. We'll see what we can get any response for you, okay?
Yeah.
Now, where do you guys see yourselves in 10 years?
Hopefully still rocking out, playing shows and playing to way bigger crowds and becoming a household name. That's my goals, definitely.
But I would definitely not be disappointed if in 10 years we were doing the same thing we're doing now, because it really feels like living the dream, traveling across the country, playing with big bands. We're playing at Rocklahoma Fest, with Cheap Trick and Poison and all kinds of Godsmack, all kinds of big bands. I mean, right now, this is the dream. And if I'm still doing this in 10 years, I will be totally content with my life.
I have to agree with what Scott said. Like, this is something that I wouldn't have believed if I had told my high school self that we're playing this big show and that we're touring across the country and working with these big artists and producers and engineers. I wouldn't believe it. I would be like, shut up. You're lying right now.
No, I was going to say something about Rocklahoma. Who on that ticket, who would you want to see the most off that ticket? You got to take yourselves off the table.
I would totally say Cheap Trick. They are such a good band. We grew up listening to Cheap Trick, and they were inspired by some of our favorite musicians. So they're an all-around solid band. I'd love to meet those guys. Hopefully we'll get a chance to hang out with them. Possibly do a flat.
Are you there? Okay, good. Sorry, this is a lag once again. We're having some weather, so just bear with me here. What has been your favorite venue thus far?
Do you want to take this one, Nate?
Yeah, no, that's fine. For me personally, I think it's pretty easy. I can probably say I speak for everybody else, but the Whiskey to Go in Los Angeles was
Yes!
It was pretty damn awesome. I mean, you hear about these places and you see them, in your favorite bands, tour lineups and stuff like that, and you never really think that you're gonna be a part of that, but then you go there and play on the stage, and it really does live up to the hype. So yeah, the Whiskey. We also played at Alice Cooper's bar in Phoenix, was really nice as well. But I think the Whiskey sort of trumps them all.
It's just one of those venues that you grow up saying, I'm going to play at that place one day.
And everybody laughs at you. And now we're laughing at them.
Yeah, after we got done playing that show, we all just were silent in the tour van. It was a crappy tour van that we somehow putted across the whole country in. And we made it to the Whiskey, and there was just a moment of silence after playing the show where you couldn't hear anything except the engine and the wind on Sunset Boulevard. And we all just start screaming. We couldn't hold it in any longer. We were just like, we did it. We made it. We played the Whiskey. It was so cool.
I can only imagine how exciting that must have been the first time you stepped out onto that stage. That's amazing. Now, other than Paul Stanley, what celebrity would you be most nervous to meet?
Paul Stanley!
No, Scotty, no. I would say Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters.
Good one.
Such a good guy and just a legend, a multi-talented legend. He's been in Nirvana and Foo Fighters, two of my favorite bands, and especially Foo Fighters. They're totally one of my favorites. And he's just such a good dude. I don't know. I would just love to learn from him.
What about you other guys?
You know mine. Do I have to answer?
We have to take Paul off the table.
I took Paul off the table. I took Paul off the table. Oh my God. Well, probably Sebastian Bach. You love him, man. Yeah.
That was a good answer too.
Yeah. I feel like he could teach me something about control and with my high. I feel like I'm getting really good with my high voice, but my control could. If it was anything like his, I'd be legendary.
I think you're pretty good.
I have to give a shout out to my man Don Henley from the Eagles too, because he really has inspired me a lot vocally. He has a smooth, soulful voice that I've always looked up to.
Absolutely, I agree. Now, this is my favorite question to ask everybody because there's always some unique stories. What's the craziest thing that's happened to you as a band?
There's been a lot of crazy stuff happen. You mean as far as crazy fans or crazy road experiences or just?
I always like the fans. I always like the fan story because they always come off a little bit more crazy.
Well, there was this one time playing in Phoenix at Cooperstown, Alice Cooper's place. there were these girls at the front row, and I start playing a guitar solo, and this one she starts like touching me, and it was inappropriate, very inappropriate. And apparently she was married and had a husband with her, so they start like fighting in the audience, and I just like go to the other side of the stage playing a solo, and next thing I know, they're being escorted out, and it was insane. There was a crazy brawl in the middle. That's just one of the many crazy stories. We've also...
Dude, what about that naked old lady in Memphis?
Oh, yeah, there was a naked old lady running through the crowd in Memphis, flagging fans down and like trying to get people to stop, but it ultimately led to less people stopping because no one wanted to see that. People would speed by. She was holding a sign saying, "Buddz tonight," and she was just butt naked and saggy in all the wrong places, and it was not a fun experience.
I thought it was fun.
Scotty liked it.
I can't imagine that would have been all that exciting for you.
No, Mom.
You can tell me anything you want. We got a good station. We like all the dirt.
Oh, man. Well, one time we got arrested in New York City.
Yes!
That was crazy.
What did Tom do into New York?
Okay, so we're the Buddz, obviously, and our name being in lights in New York City wasn't really the greatest. There were girls asking us to sign them in, certain places, and the cops didn't really take too kindly to it, so they search us and found nothing, and we start smarting off to them, and next thing we know, we're in the back of a police van getting arrested in New York City.
Boy.
We didn't even finish the show. We played like a warm-up song and then went out to, just take a quick breather. And next thing you know, we're in the back of a police van. It was pretty crappy.
Yes.
But that's how we wrote one of the songs, Home Is On My Mind. That's on our new album. It was from that experience. We were actually in a cell while we were writing that song.
Oh, my goodness.
It was very good times. Very good times.
It's craziness.
Something you can always tell your children, right?
Oh, yeah. We're not.
Now, I had a friend of mine ask me a question to ask you. She wanted to know, what is your most valuable possession?
My most valuable possession.
Or valued possession, I'm sorry.
Does that count as people?
No.
Absolutely, yep.
I would say my family, and most importantly, my soul. We don't want to sell our soul to the devil, We love our souls. And we love God. We love God. But I don't know. My family is my most valued possession by far. I think more than really any guitar or any awesome car or anything fancy that we've been able to buy from our success. It would be my family, most importantly, because they inspire me to do this. They're the people that have kept us going. They're the people that just believed in us when we were crappy musicians in a garage, just trying to live the dream. And they're the reason we even got here to start with. So I just want to say thank you to all of my family that supported me. And we couldn't have done it without you guys. We love you all.
Good answer. I like that answer very much. So,
thank you.
All right, guys. The last question I have for you is what I end most of them with, and it's it's regarding your fans. If you could say anything to your fans about the band or you as an individual, what would you like them to know?
That's a good question. Do you want to take it, Scotty?
Yeah. I mean, if I could say anything to the fans, I'd say, yes,
and I love you too. Definitely. That's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, I'm going to have to step in here and say a little something to the fans. Thank you for being so patient with this album. And thank you for, keeping on, coming to all of our shows and for just, sticking with us, because this was a long process and it took us a while to get this one ready. But this is our gift to you. We put a lot of work into it and a lot of time. And we poured our hearts and souls into this project. And we really hope that you receive it.
You kind of faded out there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I was just saying thank you so much to all the fans for being patient and for sticking with us during the process of this album, because it was a long process. It took a lot of hard work and just a lot of, blood, sweat, and tears to finish this thing. And we just want to thank you guys for sticking with us and believing in us. It took us a long time, but this album is really our heart and souls poured into it. So we hope that you dig it, and we hope that you stick around for another couple of years while we write this next album, because we're
gonna be no couple years.
You definitely can tell that you've put a lot of time and effort into this album. It's, like I said
we're
before, it's a
perfectionists, and
great
this
album.
is the first time we've ever dropped something that I can honestly say every bit of it is the way we envisioned it. We didn't settle for anything. We just made sure that we took our time and got everything in our eyes the way it was meant to be.
That's awesome. Well, I really would like to thank you guys for taking the time to talk to me today. It's been a lot of fun. You guys are a hoot and a half.
Thank you so much for having us, Misty.
Sure. Now, for the listeners, don't forget to check out their soon-released album, Burn Down, which, as I said before, can be pre-ordered on iTunes. This is Misty Dawn from the Manamal Streaming Radio, and have a great day.